On today's episode of Fit Happens, we'll be joining a spinning class, looking at what the world of fitness modelling has to offer and cooking some healthy protein pancakes. Hi, and welcome to Fit Happens, the show where we help you increase your fitness levels and reduce your fatness levels. My name is Zaremba, and I'm joined by Nicola and Keith Cormican. Nicola, tell me a bit about what you're up to these days in fitness.
So you could say, Chris, I've got my fingers in many healthy pies because I do one-to-one personal training. So I go to people's houses and sometimes they come to me at the studio. I also do group fitness classes, so I teach in various gyms and also in the parks outside with a company called Owl Parks, which is actually free for everybody as well. So I like to also help the local community with just to get a little bit fitter and healthier, and I do that on the radio. So I give them tips and I answer their questions as well, and I also have other fitness professionals on the radio who can also give advice.
So you broadcast on, is it Hayes FM?
Yes, it's 91.8 Hayes FM.
So you use the radio to pass on the fitness message, and you also do that through your classes and your courses and in the parks as well.
Absolutely. I'm doing a number of blogs as well, so I'm getting into a bit of writing now and also writing a book.
Cool, must keep you busy.
Yeah.
Nicola, thank you so much. Welcome to Rush Fitness. Nicola hosts a spinning class here, I think once, probably twice a week, and she's been kind enough to invite me to attend one of these sessions. It's a long time since I've been to a spinning class, but I know spinning is a great form of cardio activity. I'm going to burn a lot of calories, I suspect. She tells me it's going to last an hour. I'm going to do my best to stay the course. As I said, it's ages since I've done spinning, but I'm sure it's going to be great.
Hello and welcome to my spinning class at Rush Fitness in Uxbridge.
So how long have you been teaching spinning?
Spinning I've been teaching probably the longest actually out of all my classes, so probably more than 10 years now.
10 years?
Yeah, but I still love it. I teach it about 5 times a week.
So you don't do your own cardio exercise on top of that, do you?
Spinning's all I need. And it's great because it's so low impact, and when I was doing things like running for the marathon, I would do this alongside it for cross training, so you still get the heart and lung effect, cardiovascular, but without all of the pressure on your joints.
What do you see as the main benefits of spinning for everybody?
Well, mainly, as I said, with it being low impact, many people can do it, whether you're injured, obviously depending on what the injury is, but without it being so load bearing. And obviously cardiovascular, so it's really good for your heart and lungs and burning lots of calories.
It's also very good at interval training, isn't it? Because you have the uphill, the flat, and the downhill, those 3 phases, and then another flat bit at the bottom as well. Those phases make it into a high intensity interval type training too, which is the type of training that I like very much.
Yep, and obviously depending on your instructor, because everyone teaches different, some people may take you on more of a journey base where you're visualising flat roads, hill climbs, sprints and things. Or like my classes you've seen today, we do a little bit of that, but we also do intervals with the music. So we may work for the 3-minute track, or we may work with sections, so beats per minute.
Do you find with some of your clients that you both recommend spinning and also weight training to go with it as well?
Yeah, absolutely. The two go together hand in hand.
Right, because spinning itself doesn't do much for building muscle, does it, or building...
Well, you get a baseline muscle, good endurance muscles, and in my class and some other teachers as well also use the upper body. So it's not regular to see upper body in a spinning class, it's mainly just the legs. Yeah. So we obviously work chest and triceps and shoulders as well. Yeah,
I found that interesting about your class, because spinning class I've been to a few years ago, it was just the spinning, it was just the cardio. But you actually put some stretching on the end of it as well, and also some press-up type activity for the chest during halfway through the class as well, which I thought was very innovative.
Everybody should do the stretching at the end, because you've worked your muscles for 45 minutes, so you need to at least, let them repair and recover.
So would you recommend spinning for everybody?
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
It may take a couple of goes to get used to sitting on the saddle. It's not the most comfortable, but once your legs are strong enough, you can put a lot more weight bearing into the legs, and then you're less on the saddle.
And do you find that people enjoy the class atmosphere? Because I tend to do my cardio on my own, because I'm so used to doing it. I've done cardio every morning now for the past 10 years or so. And I've got my own structure and how I like it. But I think a lot of people prefer the class structure.
Yeah, definitely. I think because once you get into a class, there's that sort of etiquette that you can't really leave a class. Obviously, if you're not feeling well or whatever, you can go and tell the teacher and maybe leave. But otherwise, for motivation purposes, it keeps people going to the end. So you feel like you have a group of people, and you're just doing it all together, so you can spur each other on.
And do you find that there are some people actually who can't do the class? Some people find it too difficult, so what they do is they maybe just make the resistance just a little bit easier than you want them to.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't say I've met anybody who can't do spinning, but you can certainly change your resistance. I'm not one of the teachers who get off the bike and change it for you. I know some people do.
Right.
Everyone has their own methods, and some people like that. But otherwise, I just say, just get through the whole class, try everything, and if you need a rest at any time, you can. And then obviously, the fitter you get, the more you can do.
Yeah. And today's class was how long? Was it 45 minutes?
45 minutes. It's always 45 minutes.
And is that typical for all classes across the country?
Yeah, generally spinning classes, unless they have express ones, which are 30 minutes.
Nicola, thanks so much.
That's all right. Thanks for joining. It was good to help you.
Thanks for the invite. First time being invited. Lovely. I'll be back.
Yeah, good.
We're going to look at an aspect of fitness now which isn't really very popular amongst the mainstream of British public, which is bodybuilding or fitness modelling. So first of all, let's explain what the difference is between fitness modelling and bodybuilding itself. Bodybuilding is all about getting the largest muscles that you can have, certainly on the men's side, and probably looking perhaps not the most visually appealing or attractive look. Fitness modelling is meant to be a more aesthetic side and perhaps more marketable look, and it's the fitness modelling side that I've gone in for. I've competed a total of 13 times. You can see some of my images here, and I'm very pleased to say that I'm actually the world champion fitness model for my age group, which is the over 50s. I love getting on stage. I love people looking at me and admiring my physique, and I particularly like picking up a trophy at the end of the day. So it's something that I enjoy doing. It's something that I probably will stop, not for any reason other than the fact that I'm now 59 years old, and it's getting a little bit old for this role, because the age groups for fitness models end at 45 and above. So I'm competing with a lot of people who are much younger than me. But I know Nicola has a slightly different view on this area.
I do, yes, and in my first show I did bodybuilding bikini category, and I actually won.
Oh, well done.
So it should have been an amazing achievement and a proud moment. I mean, I was proud, obviously, and standing on stage was an achievement, just to be in front of a lot of people, obviously in a small bikini as well. You've got to stand there quite confident and proud. But the process for me, coming from an eating disorder background, was actually not healthy.
Right.
And one of the reasons I wanted to pursue bodybuilding, fitness modelling, if you like, was to become that picture of health. As a personal trainer, I believe that that's what my clients wanted to aspire to be, and therefore I should look like that. And actually that picture wasn't healthy for me and isn't for a lot of people.
And it's not healthy because the body has to go through a lot of rigours, I think, in order to prepare yourself to go on stage, because there's in the weeks leading up to the contest, or months leading up to the contest, there's a heavy exercise toll, and also you're dieting a lot as well, aren't we?
Absolutely, yeah. It's a very strict dieting regime, and for most people it's about 12 weeks. It can be longer. Very strict dieting and obsessions really with food and exercise.
Yeah, and certainly I've found that it can get to that obsessive level, especially in the last 2 or 3 weeks before the contest, because it's actually very hard to think of anything else.
Yeah, especially when you're that hungry.
Especially when you're that hungry, absolutely. Although once you've had the contest, then there's a period of reverse dieting, which is gradually easing back into a normal eating regime and cutting back down on the exercise.
Yeah, which is where a lot of people struggle, especially if you have had eating disorder behaviours before.
Yeah, and your view is that people with eating disorders should think very carefully before taking this up as a sport?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, one of the reasons as well I decided to compete was to prove that I was well. And doing something that's so strict and obsessive in exercise and fitness is obviously not something that's going to be healthy for somebody with that mindset.
Yeah, and certainly I've spoken to friends of mine who are maybe thinking of competing, and I have to explain to them the difference between the fitness modelling side and the bodybuilding side. And for both types, I have to warn them that this is actually going to be quite an obsessive behaviour in the weeks leading up to the contest. But if you do well, then it's a joy, and all your friends and family are obviously very, very proud of you.
Absolutely. So
we have interesting views on this, slightly different views, but it's an interesting subject, and I hope that if you decide to look into fitness modelling or bodybuilding, you'll take Nicola's advice and think about it very carefully, especially if you've got that eating disorder.
This stretch is known as a lat stretch. Slightly more complex, but let's give it a go. It's well worth it. What you do is keep your toes pointed out in front of you, feet flat, your heels flat on the floor, one leg over the other, elbow over the knee, and you should be feeling a nice warm sensation in the lat area. And hold each stretch for about 3 to 5 seconds, and remember to breathe. Good stuff. If that's too hard for you though, you can keep the elbow the other side of the knee, but the more flexible you get, you should be able to go all the way around. Good stuff. And whatever you do one side, remember we do it the other side, so it's the other foot over the other knee, and twist. Fit it in. Are you fitting in the stretch in the lats?
Yeah.
Good stuff. And again, if that's too hard for you though, you can keep the elbow the other side, but it's best to try go as far as you can. That's good. That's known as the lat stretch.